Confetti is raining down inside the Super Bowl stadium, and right in the middle of it all stands Sam Darnold, holding the Lombardi Trophy like he was always meant to be there. The Seattle Seahawks just crushed the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60, turning what everyone thought would be a coronation for a young superstar into a complete takeover. This night belonged to Seattle, 14 regular season wins, a playoff run that steamrolled everyone in their path, and a calm, commanding performance that left the football world stunned. Picture this: Kenneth Walker III pounding through defenders for over 135 rushing yards, setting the tone early and never letting up. Devin Witherspoon flying around the field, blowing up plays before they even started. Jackson Smith-Njigba battling for every tough yard. Cooper Kupp snatching clutch catches, and A.J. Barner rising up for that touchdown that slammed the door shut. This was supposed to be Drake May's moment, the Patriots rising with their exciting young quarterback. But instead, Seattle controlled every second, making a high-powered offense look lost and frustrated. The shocking truth is, none of this happened by accident or some lucky break. It came from a smart, ruthless rebuild that turned a quarterback the league had given up on into the steady leader of a championship team. But to understand how Sam Darnold went from forgotten to holding that trophy, we have to go back to the start of his wild journey. Sam Darnold walked onto that Super Bowl field carrying years of doubt on his back. The same guy the league had labeled a bust after tough starts in New York and Carolina. Yet there he was, calm in the pocket, picking apart defenses like he had finally found the missing piece to his game. What changed everything was a quiet decision to step back, learn, and rebuild without chasing the spotlight. He spent a full season on the bench with the San Francisco 49ers, watching Brock Purdy every day and soaking up lessons from Kyle Shanahan on timing, rhythm, and reading defenses the right way. That time away from starting turned him into a different quarterback, one who stopped forcing throws and started trusting the play to develop. Then came Minnesota, where Kevin O'Connell gave him weapons like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and Sam Darnold put together strong games that reminded everyone why he went so high in the draft. The real magic happened when Seattle brought him in, not as a risky bet, but because Mike Macdonald already knew what he could do from their shared time around the 49ers staff. They built everything around his new strengths: smart decisions, quick reads, and letting the playmakers shine. But this perfect fit did not come out of nowhere. It started with one bold trade that gave the front office the tools to reshape the entire roster. Everything Seattle built started with a move most fans thought would never happen: trading Russell Wilson when plenty still saw him as a top quarterback. Denver handed over a huge haul of first-round picks, second-rounders, and extra mid-round shots, plus the cap space to start fresh. John Schneider chose the hard road, betting that short-term pain would lead to long-term control, and that decision unlocked every piece that showed up on that Super Bowl field. Those picks turned into the backbone of this roster, not just depth guys, but real difference makers. Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas locked down the tackle spots, Devin Witherspoon became the fire starter in the secondary, Boy Mayfield and Byron Murphy brought nonstop pressure off the edge, and Ernest Jones arrived mid-season to flip the run defense completely. Schneider stayed smart in free agency too, grabbing Cooper Kupp on a sharp deal when others questioned his health, adding DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams to anchor the front, and bringing in Rashid Shaheed for speed that defenses had to respect. He even made the tough calls look easy, letting DK Metcalf chase a massive contract elsewhere and moving on from fan-favorite Tyler Lockett, all while trusting Jackson Smith-Njigba to grow into the lead role. Every choice screamed patience and vision, building a deep, balanced group ready to carry a championship run. But a roster this strong still needed a new voice to push it over the edge, and that meant making another painful change at the very top. Letting go of Pete Carroll hurt, a legend who brought the city its first ring and kept the energy high for years. But deep down, the team had settled into a comfortable spot, winning enough to stay relevant, yet falling short against sharper, younger coaching minds in the division. Staying with the old way meant more of the same, good but never great, so Seattle made the tough call to turn the page and chase a new edge. In stepped Mike Macdonald, young and hungry, with fresh ideas that shook the entire building from day one. He changed how they practice, broke down film, and even spoke about schemes, turning a solid group into a unit obsessed with details and aggression. His defense became the heartbeat, fast, physical, and always one step ahead, forcing the offense to match that intensity or get left behind. That complete reset created the perfect balance, an attack that could lean on the ground, move the chains, and control the clock without panic. But the real beauty was how every part fed the other, starting with a running game that wore defenses down and opened the door for everything else. At the core of Seattle's attack sat a punishing run game that dictated everything, with Kenneth Walker III as the engine that ground defenses into submission. He forced extra bodies into the box, turning every snap into a numbers game the offense always won, to creating wider lanes and softer coverage as the quarters wore on. That constant threat shifted the entire rhythm, making opponents pay for any mistake in alignment. Once defenses cheated forward, the passing options exploded open without needing deep risks every play. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba worked every level of the field, turning short routes into big gains and drawing constant attention. Cooper Kupp owned the middle on crucial downs, finding soft spots and hauling in tough balls, while A.J. Barner surprised as a reliable target near the goal line, and Rashid Shaheed added that vertical stretch plus elite work on returns. The whole machine ran smoothly because the front held firm, with steady protection and push-up front that kept pockets clean and holes open. Smart play calls, mixed play action, and quick releases. Bleeding the clock and keeping possession, turning good drives into game-controlling marches. But what made this side truly scary was how it fed directly into a defense built to finish off tired offenses in the worst way possible. Seattle's defense hit offenses like a wall that kept closing in, wave after wave of pressure that never let quarterbacks settle. Up front, the rotation stayed fresh and fierce, with DeMarcus Lawrence bending edges with power, Leonard Williams collapsing the middle, and Byron Murphy bursting through gaps for instant disruption. They mixed in Derek Hall flying off corners, Uchenna Nwosu attacking from wide angles, and constant energy that made every snap feel exhausting for the other side. Ernest Jones owned the second level, shooting into run lanes and covering windows so tightly that nothing leaked through without a fight. In the back, Julian Love read eyes and slid into throws, while Rick Woolen used his length to challenge outside releases and force everything inside to the waiting chaos. The scheme kept bodies rotating, disguises shifting, and pressure coming from everywhere, turning promising drives into quick punts or stalled hopes. What made this unit truly dominant was how it broke the spirit of even the most talented attacks, holding control until the clock became the enemy. In that Super Bowl, they turned a dangerous Patriots group into shadows of themselves, piling on hits and frustration from the opening kick. But the deepest satisfaction came from who they did it against, finally flipping an old script that had haunted the franchise for years. And that Super Bowl night felt like the franchise finally exhaled after holding its breath for years, turning a painful memory into pure celebration. Seattle took control early, feeding Kenneth Walker III to set a physical tone while Sam Darnold picked his spots with calm precision, keeping drives alive and the clock moving. Every big moment landed perfectly, from clutch grabs to timely pressure that left the Patriots chasing the game from the start. The defense delivered the knockout blows, swarming Drake May on crucial downs and forcing rush decisions that piled up into frustration. Devin Witherspoon created chaos at the worst times for New England. Young core pieces like Boy Mayfair and Jackson Smith and Jigba stepped up huge under the brightest lights, and the entire unit played with an edge that felt personal. Beating the same franchise that stole a ring at the goal line all those years ago turned this win into something deeper than just another title. Fans who stuck through every doubt and rebuild watched the weight lift as confetti fell on a new generation leading the way. This victory wiped clean the old scars and proved the fresh approach could deliver when it mattered most. But now the real question hangs over everything. Can this core stay together and turn one ring into the start of something even bigger? The parade might be over, but the real work starts now for a front office that has to lock in this core without breaking the bank. Extending Sam Darnold on a deal that rewards his growth while protecting future flexibility sits at the top of the list, right alongside new contracts for Kenneth Walker III, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Devin Witherspoon as they enter their prime earning years. Keeping veterans like DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams on reasonable terms could maintain that defensive edge, but every dollar counts when building for multiple runs. John Schneider faces fresh tests in the coming months, starting with finding the perfect replacement for departing play caller Clint Kubiak, who understood this balanced identity inside out. Draft picks and free agent moves have to keep feeding the trenches and adding depth, avoiding flashy splashes that disrupt what already works. One smart cycle could sharpen this roster even more, turning good matchups into guaranteed advantages year after year. This championship proved the model holds up under pressure, a complete team built on patience and tough choices rather than quick luck. If Seattle stays disciplined and keeps trusting the process, this group could stack titles and redefine the league for a long stretch. Hit like if you see another ring coming soon, subscribe for more breakdowns on teams ready to rise, and drop in the comments where you think the Seahawks finish next season.